Hi everyone, I'm Subhashri and you're watching my channel Psychological First Aid. You know, we all face traumas, adversities, and other stresses at some point of our life which shake us deep inside, make us feel like we have lost everything. The damage is irreplaceable, nothing can be done. The pain is real and unbearable, but we need to overcome. We need to protect our mental health. But how? The answer is resilience, bouncing back in life from those difficult experiences. The damage due to traumas, adversities like job loss, financial problem, illness, natural disaster, medical emergencies, divorce or separation, relationship problem, death of loved one, physical and sexual abuse and violence are really intense. Well, my question is, do we respond to our adverse situations in the same way as others do? Or do we respond all our stressful situations or traumas in the same way? You can share your observations in the comment section. It's true that we all respond differently, but why? Have you ever seen such person who in spite of her or his intense adverse situations deal with it in most affirmative and positive way that make you surprised? You feel like how come that person can remain calm, composed and moving on in his or her life? From where the person is getting psychic energy to be so solution focused? Is not that the person feeling pain? Or you may be that person. Others may think, like, oh God, such a strong minded person. Others may secretly wish to be like you. So, what is that factor or process make us behave like a warrior towards our traumatic situations? Is the person born strong or anyone can learn to be strong? All answers in one word: resilience. And anybody can learn that. Psychologists define resilience as the process of adapting well in the face of adversity, trauma, tragedy, threats, or any significant sources of stress. Like elasticity of a rubber, which comes back to its original shape after it is stressed. Nobody is born with it. Being resilient is a process which takes time and intentionality. The pain is really unbearable, but they don't decide our future. There are many aspects of life we can control, modify, and grow with. That's the role of resilience. Being resilient does not mean that a person will not experience difficulty. In fact, the road to resilience is likely to involve considerable amount of emotional distress. It is not a one day achievement. It is not a trampoline where you are down one moment and up next. It is more like climbing a mountain without a trail map. So let us develop this resilience within us. First thing we need to know that during or after a trauma, it is normal to feel like giving up, to doubt one's ability to recover, to wonder if we will ever have a night free of sorrow, sleeplessness, and it is okay. Do not feel guilty. Do not deny, reject, or repress your feelings because repressed grief, anger, and fear lead to both psychological and physical problems. I know it is not easy, very difficult, sometimes so fearful to experience. But the more we feel our feelings, the more resilient we are. This will help us to reduce the chaos in our mind. You know what? We are hardwired to remember the painful experiences and negative events. But we need those moments, those memories for protection. Let us feel our pain as a part of our life, not as a whole. Resilient people know when to reach for help, to connect with someone, to grab an inspirational book, or go for an exercise or gymming. They do this even when it does not seem like it will help. Then why they do so? Because they strongly need an urge to regulate their emotion, which sometimes seems so overwhelming, like an out of control roller coaster, to give their brain a break from repetitive thoughts, to pause that tape recorder that is playing inside the brain the same thing over and over again. To be resilient, we need to know the way we regulate our emotions are healthy or unhealthy. Healthy ways are like talking with friends, therapist, or anyone with whom you are comfortable. Any art based activities you like, you enjoy, exercise, yoga, meditation, prayer, getting adequate sleep. If you are doing such things, then definitely you are adapting a healthy way to regulate your emotions. But what are the unhealthy ways of regulating emotions? Like self injury, harming others, abusing alcohol and drugs, physical verbal aggressions, excessive social media use, avoiding or withdrawing from difficult situations. These are really unhealthy. And this is not at all beneficial. It's very, very harmful. Now let us discuss on those four core components of resilience. That is CWHM: connection, wellness, healthy thinking, and meaning. The first one is connection. Build your connection. But why? You know, sometimes the pain of traumatic events lead us to disconnect with people around us. Sometimes we isolate ourselves completely. I'm not saying self isolation is unhealthy, but if it is for a long period of time, extreme and complete isolation from everyone, then it is unhealthy, both physically and psychologically. But why we isolate ourselves? We need to know that. It is maybe due to avoid social interaction, due to shame or depression, or we experience social anxiety or fears of abandonment, fears of rejection. We may have only limited or superficial social contact. These are social isolation. We also isolate ourselves emotionally when we are unable or unwilling to share our emotions with others. But this in turn affect our state of mind. Without emotional support, we may feel shut down or numb. Spending time alone is not inherently bad, but if it is for prolonged period, then definitely you need to consider and you need to change the pattern of your living. In fact, it can be healthy sometimes for rejuvenation. It allow us to reconnect with our needs, our goals and feelings. Another side is human beings are social animals who needs human contact to thrive and sometimes even to survive. So connecting with empathetic and understanding people can remind you that you are not alone in your difficulties. Or you can join any group that provides social support if it is available and if you are comfortable with it. The second one, that is foster wellness. Please take care of your body. That is because stress is just as much physical as it is emotional. This is our most common reaction to our traumatic events. Sometimes we stop taking care of ourselves due to lack of motivation, interest, and psychological fatigue. But doing so is very, very damaging. The third one is find purpose. Find purpose in life. Help others. We may think, when I am not able to help myself, when my situation is so drastic, so bad, then how can I help others? And why will I do that? But believe me, that feeling is really genuine, really empowering. It empowers us to grow in resilience. We can volunteer ourselves with a local homeless shelter, or we can simply support a friend in their own time of need. We can at least think for it, and if chances are there, then we can also go for it. It will bring us that sense of purpose, self worth, and it will reduce the feeling of loneliness. Another thing, we can be proactive about our situation. I mean, simply by asking ourselves, what can I do about a problem in my life? If the problems seem too big to tackle, then we can break them down so that we can manage in small pieces. Another thing, we can ask ourselves, what is one thing I know I can accomplish today? For example, if you are struggling with the loss of a loved one and you want to move forward, you can connect with any mental health helpline number and share. You can approach a therapist, or you can join any grief support group in your area if available. The fourth one is embrace healthy thoughts. It is actually hard to be positive, really hard, very, very hard to adapt healthy thinking when life is not going our way. Sometimes we feel like not possible, but the minimum thing we can do is to try. As I told earlier, resilient people do not stop trying even if it does not help much. Let us remind ourselves that what happened to us is not an indicator of how our future will go, and we are not helpless. In cognitive behavior therapy, building resilience is a matter of mindfully changing basic behaviors and thought patterns. The first step is to change the nature of self talk, the way we talk with ourselves. Self talk is the internal monologue people have that reinforce beliefs about the person's self efficacy and self value. I cannot do this. Repetitive dialogue, repetitive self talk. I cannot do this. I cannot handle this. And what we can do, we can try to replace these dialogues. Like, I can handle this. I can do this. It reduces psychological stress. Another thing, we can have our own emergency response plan, like pre-arrangement of financial cushion to help with economic crisis. We can develop social networks that can help us, that can support us during our personal crisis. At least we can try to do that. It is true. It is true that we do not have control over everything, but there is still something we can control, even if it is a small, small one. Let us think, let us focus on that small one, even if it is like closing the door and dance like anything, sing like anything, laugh loudly, watching a comedy show, anything, anything which we can act upon. According to James Lane's theory of emotion in psychology, which state emotion we feel are associated with different physiological reactions. According to James, we do not run because we are scared. We are scared because we run. Or I'm not singing because I'm happy. I'm happy because I'm singing. Another theory of emotion, that is Lazarus cognitive theory, which states cognitive interpretation of circumstances determine the arousal level. I mean, in simple words, the actual emotion we experience depend upon other characteristics or circumstances. For example, in a family, if the parents are giving equal opportunity to their son and daughter in gaining education, knowledge, and skill, then maybe in later stage, if the family will face any kind of financial crisis, then both their daughter and son will be there to manage the crisis. But imagine if it is not happening. I mean, if the parents are not giving equal opportunity to the daughter of the family, then the situation will be different during financial crisis. In the end of this video, I would like to say that all these things which I shared in this video will help us to be resilient, to bounce back in our life, to regain our mental calmness with even more strength. This will help us to deal with certain risk factors that increase the likelihood of experiencing mental health problems. And what are those risk factors? like lack of social support, being bullied, experiencing trauma, socioeconomic disadvantage, and social or cultural discrimination. So, by building our resilience, we can protect our mental health from this kind of negative stressors. Thank you for watching this video. I would love to connect with you. The mail ID of this channel is available in the description box. Feel free to give your feedback in the comment box, or you can suggest any psychological content you would like to watch. Take care of your body and mind. Have a good day.